Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Town of Sheffield Select Board meeting for February 17th, 2026, and to let everyone know we're being recorded but not aired live this evening. And with our first thing on the docket would be approval of meeting minutes. We have quite a few sets of them, and I think I have to recuse myself from one of them. But
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from December 15th, December 18th, December 30th, January 5th, 2 sets, January 8th, January 12th, January 21st, and February 2nd, 2 sets.
Second.
January 5th.
Yeah, Jen. And I will recuse myself from the vote on January 5th. If I can we work that into your motion?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All in favor for January 5th?
Aye.
Okay. This evening we also have we need to open a public hearing on utility pole location, and I believe we have somebody here to present it. Steve, would you like to come forward?
Hello everybody, I am Steve Hayward with National Grid. I am here requesting to install 6 new utility poles along Kelsey Road. The purpose for these poles is there's a Mass DOT project that's happening along Kelsey Road there to present culvert area there that they're going to be redoing. So installing new poles will move our infrastructure out of the way for Mass DOT and their contractors to do their portion of work.
Does anyone have any questions or any comments from the audience? George, would you like to come forward?
Yeah, George, I'm representing the butter. We are there only indicate one pole. My question is, are you going to keep them within the 1 yard, 1 rod right of way?
So anything that's outside of the public right of way, the Mass DOT will be requiring easements for.
Because the letter only indicates 8 poles, not 6 poles. And I didn't, when the property you're talking about, the sun's on this side, I got over here, I didn't receive any letter. Now I'm looking at 300 feet from the pole.
Interesting. So we pulled the full of our reports, and it's through the assessor data from staff.
This is Kelsey Pole,
This is this here.
Barn Street. This is mine. This is my son's. This is my son's over there, and this is, belongs to the farm over there, the barn over here.
So we have a list of who the abutters were, and the letter that they sent out actually does say poles plural in the copy that we have. And there's 4 abutters that were listed on the report: Susan Dedgens, Revocable Trust; John O'Lean at 997, John O'Lean at 997, and Tucker and Sarah Lee Glooly. Are all within the.
I mean, granted, there's no house lot there, because agriculture, what I have, but I'm still in the butter. Just because my house is located on Fulton, I've got land there plus barn, Fulton, and Barn Street.
I don't know how this is pulled, but
Do you know what the distance for butters is?
So there's not a distance. What it is, it's any new infrastructure that's being, I'm going to mess with the verbiage up here, but it's along, across, upon, right? So there's not a set distance within the Mass General law. It's just wherever those poles are going to be and the direct impact. So it'd be the immediate abutter, not a village.
are any of them immediately abutting your
I
property?
immediately, but Kelsey Road, Barn Street, right down through my property.
Do you have a problem with the placement of the poles?
No.
So long as they stay within the within the right of way highway, which is a rock.
Oh, yeah.
So the bridge can't be much any bigger than what it's at now.
So George, it looks like there may have been a problem on the part of the assessor's office in pulling these, in that if you look at the sheet, your name is on the top of this. It's not listed below with the abutters, but above, but your mailing address is there, so I wonder if that meant that they didn't get a mailing to you? And with that in mind, do you have any concerns about this project, or are you just concerned about why you didn't get an abutters notice?
Except I didn't get one.
Yeah,
Because I have property west there. But also, there's only so much footage that you got on either side of that road that you can put a pole on, because it's all small.
yeah.
That's where the bridge, it can't be, but the same width it is.
Is there a reason why he's listed as subject property and then abutters are listed below?
Yeah, so once, to generate that photos, we start with the property and then go out from there. So maybe that's where the,
That is where the
Confusion.
confusion comes. Exactly.
So basically, you have no problem as long as the poles are within the right of way, correct?
Pole is right of way.
And if DOT,
Which is a rock.
right, and if DOTs need something more, they will
Have to seek it out.
have to seek it. So that will be a whole different.
Any further comments? Thank you, George. Sorry for that confusion on this.
Do I need to identify myself?
Yes, you do.
Yes, sir.
Mike King. So, this is really young at the distant end of this. Are the existing poles that are being replaced or being driven in the application? So, for example, if I wanted to go out and see what poles you're referring to, I could go out to the existing poles and I would see that the pole that is replacing is going to be within a certain distance of that, correct?
so all these locations are staked out in the field. These numbers aren't gonna be, they're not gonna be one for one with what's out in the field today, because this is the new proposal of the layout that you're seeing. However, what you should see up there, if my memory is correct, you'll only see 2 poles existing. So you have
Right.
pole 1 and a pole 2. And we're requesting to install 6 new ones. All 6 of these are staked in the field.
Okay. My next question is, you're talking about 2 poles existing that you're going to replace. This shows a density population of more poles with less distance between them. Technically, what is the reasoning behind that?
It's a variety of factors, but effectively it's because it's going to be very layman the way I put it, but it's the best way to hold up our stuff, is this layout there.
Okay, so the amount of weight that the wires are exerting on the poles and given that weight, and the pull on the poles, you feel that the distance needs to be lessened in order to keep it upright longer.
Bingo.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I'm getting to be a good layman. Are any of these new poles requiring the removal of trees?
Any tree removals is going to be handled by the Mass DOT.
Okay, so can the location of these poles, given that there is such a existing short distance between them, can one of these poles be moved a certain distance away from the location that is shown on this drawing without endangering the strength of the pole?
So the 2 most important poles that we have here are going to be that pole 2 and that pole, what we call 1.5, that 1-50.
So pole 2, does anybody here view pictures?
With the map, yeah.
So pole number 2 is your single most important pole.
And pole 1.5, we call it.
Okay, so those two poles right alongside one another need to be right where they are.
Correct.
They
But
cannot
also,
be moved 10 feet, let's say, in either direction.
so also, because this pole 2 is in such a way where this pole 2 does not require any type of support the way that it's set up now. Pole 2.5, 2-50. This is the pole that's making pole 2, so we don't have to put any supports on it, so that we have a less impact along the right of way.
Okay, so you've got basically guy wires coming off of this pole here in order to stabilize it.
Correct.
Okay. And you cannot tell us right now which, if any of these poles interacts too closely with a mature tree.
I cannot.
Because that's what it, yeah.
I don't remember there being any substantial tree removals as part of this project.
On this side of the road.
Any tree removal would be part of the DOT application, not this.
But on this side of the road, there's a couple of big pines. This side of the road, there's a bunch of dead ash.
So in terms of direction on the compass, this is what side of the road?
That'd be west.
Southwest.
This is west, and the other side is east. So all existing poles now are on the east side,
Correct.
and you're now switching side of the highway to go to the west.
Correct.
Okay. And why is that necessary?
It's got to be within the width of the right of way that we have from the town. We have more room to work with on the west side than we do on the east side.
What is the width of the right-of-way what is the difference in width of the right-of-way on each side of the road?
So
Do we know?
The road's
No.
only right of way's only a rod wide,
A rod wide, which is what,
16 and a half feet.
16 and a half. So why is there more right-of-way on one side than the other?
Because the center of the road isn't always the center of our right of way. It's a complicated thing throughout town. We face this all of the time on easements and fences and things such as this.
So if it's the center line of the roadway, understood.
No,
No, it's not the center line of the road.
Okay.
That's the
Explain to me
complication.
what is considered, how that line is established on this road? Please.
it's the survey that decides the right of way, not the center of the road. So your road could be off to one side of the center line or the other, but it's still within the right of way.
Okay. All right. So the poles that are established on the east side of the roadway are within the town limits. Joseph?
All the poles should be within the town's right of way.
So what is it about the west side? What is it about the movement of these poles that you need more geographical footage?
So when the DOT and their contractors come in to redo this culvert, they have big machinery that comes in, and that big machinery needs to stay away from our product.
It's not a culvert, it's a freaking bridge.
But he
It's-
doesn't.
None of that has to do with, that would be the DOT component of this, not.
But the pole,
We have two things going on here at the same time. The replacement of the bridge
yeah,
and the placement of the poles to accommodate the bridge.
I understand that.
So,
There's a pole over here. This one, probably this one here, which runs this existing pole, this one existing pole.
It's near, I think the actual existing pole's right around here as well.
And there's one over here. And when they run the wire straight through, it goes right across the center of the bridge. Even though the poles are on the outside of the road, because of the curvature of the road, it goes right across the bridge. I gotta take out the extra pole that's left from the last pole placements they put in. There's poles on Kelsey Road, there's poles on Fuller Road, poles on Barton Streets where they're double.
We do have a system that we notify the other utilities to come in after us. Verizon is the one that's responsible for removing the poles per our agreements. And we do have a system that we use that notifies all the other utilities down the line for us to come and transfer their utility. Until Verizon comes, they're the last one to transfer, and then they remove the pole.
Well, need to remind them again. There's an awful lot of poles around town,
Any further discussion? Any other comment from the public? Any comments, questions from the selectmen? Or any motions?
Yeah.
No, then I will make a motion to, or I'll close.
I'll make a motion that we appoint, or not appoint, but allow the placement of the poles as described in the paperwork.
So you're approving?
Yes.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much, and thank you. We made it to 7:15. We thought we might have had time in between, but we can now open another public hearing on shade tree removal by National Grid, and I open that meeting. Is there anyone here to share thoughts or concerns about this? This is, I'm trying to think where these trees are. There's 68 trees along Bowwell Road, Curtis, Folly, Kelsey, and Salisbury. The town is
How many?
68.
removal and trimming.
Some are removal, some
Not
are
all
just.
are-
Yeah.
Just trimming back.
How was, Kathleen, this is the money stream, how was the committee known?
It was advertised.
Yeah, it was
In the paper,
advertised.
it was posted downstairs. I believe that National Grid has reached out to any homeowner along the way, whether they thought the tree was on town right away or on private property. If it was in front of someone's residence, they stopped and spoke individually with each resident.
And the advertisement listed the location.
The locations of the number of trees.
That's a huge.
By the looks of them, a lot of them are damaged by the emerald ash borer. There's a lot of ash on
Yeah,
it.
and I think it's mainly the removal of that ash.
Not
All
only,
on town property.
I don't know, I don't believe so.
Some
No.
of them on private property, and
In which
that
case?
they spoke with the people who own the property for the tree.
Barb Reeves, Berkshire Road. You have a list of the trees that have to come down. I'm just concerned because of the massive amount of good that the trees do. And if a National Grid's coming down and just willy-nilly chopping them down.
Nobody is willy-nilly in anything.
Yeah.
All these have been, hold on. All these have been checked. They are marked. They have been tagged. A lot of these are ash. The emerald ash borer has created havoc. You're not hurting the environment by taking a tree that is dead or dying out.
What else is there other than the ash?
Well, there are a few maples and cherries and a few other things, but most of them are in ill health that need to be removed. Some need to be trimmed.
How do we know whether they're gonna come down or whether they're gonna be trimmed?
This states whether they're trimming or removing.
Do we know the age of any of those trees that they're gonna be?
Some are very large.
We know the calipers.
It goes by inches diameter.
And
Most of
do we know if they're on town property or on private property, the ones that have large caliper?
I do not have that in the information.
But within these, in the notations, it talks about where they spoke with the owner. So if they were not on town property, they've spoken with the owner, verbal approval of work, no issues with the wood pickup. spoke with the owner for 267 Kelsey Road, spoke with the owner for Billabrook Work.
Okay, but what about the ones that are on town property? Does that has National Grid come to the select board and say, we're gonna remove cherries? Okay, that's it. That's the
It
only.
notified us, they marked the trees, so you can go out and you can look at the trees that are marked.
And they've worked with Dave, who functions as the tree warden.
They,
Our highways.
Dave Rula is who they've been working in conjunction with.
okay. And is there any way that we can, I'm thinking of, how do we keep the trees that we have and not take them down?
Yeah.
Is there any way that the public can be notified more than just the abutters to those trees?
Well, they are through a notice in the newspaper,
What newspaper?
the Eagle. That's the current requirement of what, I know it sounds outmoded, right?
Okay,
And on our agenda.
okay, I would just like to see you guys be a little, just be attentive to the need for us to save our trees as much as possible.
Noted. And in looking at this list, I would say about 85 to 90% of them are ashes.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, I mean,
okay. Just do your best to save.
I think that we are all fans of trees for the most part. At least I can speak for myself. I don't know about this guy because he's a farmer. But, and a lot of this for us is significant in that National Grid doing this work allows us to do work that we don't always have the money to do in town ourselves on some of these trees, right? And protects power lines. I mean,
Okay.
nothing bothers me more than an ill-pruned tree, but
Or losing your power in a storm.
There's
Yeah.
also the Sheffield Tree Project too, that those guys could be consulted if there's any trees that come down that on the town property that you say, hey, this is coming down, Sheffield Tree Project, can you take a look at it and put another tree in there?
I guess it would be Renee has.
Renee. I'm sorry, were you, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I am. You go ahead, they're cut out, see, I'm talking too much. They're saying,
I just want to comment that when I was on the board, and I think Bob has indicated, if not more than Bob, have driven well out and looked at these trees. When you hear the large number of trees, you just think, oh my gosh, they're stripping trees off our roads. Generally, I have found that National Grid does not take a tree down unless they need to. And if one or more members of the board, that's their job, if we as individuals don't see the notice in the paper, is to go and look at those trees and make any notes and have a discussion with National Grid if there's an inappropriate tree. I do want to comment that the tree needs to come down. Most homeowners are more than happy to have National Grid pay the very expensive, I just took down a tree, it was $4,500. That's a lot of money. And also, if the trees are on the town's right away, as Lee said, it does save the town an incredible amount of money, because I think we just recently, in 2 years, voted a tree budget, which is like $30,000. So I think we have to depend on our select board members to do their due diligence. And you can drive Balboa tomorrow, and they mark them quite well,
Yeah.
easy to see. And some of them are just real stragglers, look like they're gonna come down. As long as our select board does their work, then I'm comfortable with their decision.
Thank you.
One quick comment, it would be nice if it wasn't clear that this was plural, shade tree removal. I read it as a tree. And now to come and find that it's 68 trees, to be a little more clear that it is a large volume, because I think if people look at this, they're going to be more interested in coming in.
Thank you, Pat. We're recording, so the idea.
I don't want to kind of toot my own horn here, but in my hearing is that good. Did I hear 68 trees?
Correct.
Yes.
That's correct. So that's going to be National Grid or whoever's taking down these trees just takes down the trees. They leave the stump.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. So that's just fine with everybody to leave that eyesight there.
Yes, it'll naturally decompose.
And actually, as you well know, the decomposing stumps also feed insects and or create habitat as well.
To my way of thinking, it would be nice if National Grid, when they do tree takedowns, tends to leave their stumps high. So I see them anywhere from 12 to as much as 24 inches high, depending on the groundwork that's immediately behind them. 30 and 40 years ago, it was a much different story. When the pros went out and cut down trees, those trees were removed to within 6 inches above the ground collar. The ground collar being the point at which the soil stops as it surrounds the tree. Is there any way to put a word in to have these things cut down lower rather than left higher? Just, I will leave that as a rhetorical question.
Thank you, Mike. Any other comments for the public hearing? If not, I will close the public hearing and move on to discussion. Yes, of the shade tree removal. Any thoughts?
I will make a motion to approve the shade tree removal in Sheffield along, do we need all the roads?
Should.
Bow Wow, Foley, Kelsey, Salisbury, and Curtis.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. The motion passes. Oh, that's okay. Item number 5 is a public hearing that does not need to be announced about the fiscal year 26 CDBG grant. And how are you doing, Brett?
Good.
Nice to see you.
This was also announced in the Eagle as well, but this is just kind of a brief public hearing on the fiscal year 26 CDBG grant application for housing rehabilitation. Your select board has already signed the memorandum of understanding that the RPC will be applying for this grant and administering the grant if it's awarded. We're just going to go through a few points here about the grant while the sign-up sheet goes around, and then I have some goodies for everybody to take at the end. So for those of you who don't know, Sheffield, this would be the third or fourth grant application. Oh, so yeah, my numbers are already behind. The second one that I'll be involved in, but the fiscal year 26 Sheffield CDBG grant application, it'll be submitted around April 21st of 2026 for about exactly $950,000 to support a housing rehabilitation program in Sheffield. It is anticipated that we will have 11 units rehabbed through this program. Just for context, in the fiscal year 22-23 grant, we got about 13. So it's a little bit less, but everything's more expensive. The town of Sheffield will be the only and lead community on the grant, so you're going at it alone, which is good. We think you have a really competitive score for that process. The program assists homeowners in completing repairs and deferred maintenance on such items as roofs, windows, doors, plumbing, and electrical systems. The program serves low to moderate income households and provides 0% interest deferred payment forgivable loans up to $60,000 per home or up to $70,000 in situations where there's lead paint or other hazardous materials. We typically also go above $70,000 if the project warrants it. Any individual who's interested in receiving information about the program, I have cards that I'll hand out, but I also do something a little bit different. We have flyers, and folks can scan the QR code with their phone and fill out the get on the wait list that way, or they can email the email that's at the bottom of the flyer, and we'll connect them with the link and put them on the wait list that way. So if you're interested, I'll leave them up here for the end of the meeting, and I encourage everyone to take them if they know someone who needs this program. This will just be kind of our initial outreach. Once the grant's actually awarded, we'll do another round of outreach as well. So I'll leave these here and encourage you all to take those, and I'll send an electronic copy to the town as well. At this point, I'm happy to take any questions about the program. the application process and what it entails for the town. Before I do that, I just want to thank the town again for a good relationship in this program, and we've helped a lot of homeowners over the years, and yeah, it's been a great relationship.
I
So
think the town would also like to thank you for helping with this. It's been a great thing, service to town to have houses in need of repair moved forward.
yeah, happy to do it. Oh, thank you.
Any comments? Doesn't sound like the most controversial subject, no.
The CDBG grant is wonderful.
All right.
Great.
Without any further comments, shall I close the public part of the meeting? Public hearing. And we move along.
I don't think he needs a motion.
You don't need a motion from us because we already have an MOU, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Chief Bunsen, would you like to come forward and share some updates from the police department, from your new headquarters or temporary headquarters?
I think most of you are aware that the police department has relocated to the Classical Light site due to some mold remediation and construction work that's got to be being done.
I would say short term.
Short term, yeah, short term, yes, not forever. We've moved to the 119 South Point Road location of Classical Light, not the one on Center Road. So we ask people to call ahead to make an appointment if they want to see us. Obviously, emergencies are different, but just because we're kind of working with another business, we like to meet them at the door and not have them hitting the buzzer all the time. So if they could call the station, same numbers, the same phone numbers that we've always had, they can call, make an appointment, and then we'll meet them at the door and talk to them there, bring them inside. We're just trying to limit the amount of public access we can have to the building. The station at Berkshire School Road is completely empty. There's nothing left in it. All furniture has been removed, and a lot of it's been transported to our new station, or temporary station, I should say, over there. All of our files are there, everything is secure. We're storing our cruisers there. We do have to bring our cruisers back once a day to upload for the body camera and cruiser cameras, because it would be too expensive to move that system over there for the temporary time. So if you see a cruiser parked in there with its lights on at night, they're just waiting for the video to upload to the server. So don't panic, nobody's in there. So the other thing is we've got a new police officer here in town. Her name is Lauren Nelson. She was going to be here, but she's actually not on a call right now. So I thought she might be here right now, but she's doing her job. So she came to us from Egremont. She has about 5 or 6 years of police experience. She's a real nice person. Gets along with all the other officers, and all the people are really thrilled that we now have a female on our department. It's a good thing to have. It gives a good dynamic to the department. Let's see. The drug take back box. That is temporarily out of service because we couldn't move that from the current location, get the older station to the new place. We can't move that there, so that's temporary out of action right now. So once we get the refurbishment done to the station, we'll open that back up again. So
And what's the timeline for that, do you think?
I really hate to guess.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a couple of months before from start when we moved in the 1st of February. It's probably going to be sometime in April, I'm guessing. They're moving along fairly quickly in the building. The plan is once they do all the demolition work that they need to do, which they've started already, they're doing that today, then we can bring some contractors in to bid on the replacement of materials and things like that. So it's moving in the right direction now. We're kind of excited that it's getting done. The officers are happy that it's getting done. Obviously, it goes without saying, I think we owe Classical Light a really big favor at some point because it really helped us. We were offered to use the basement of the senior center, but we found that was going to be very restricted and it wasn't going to allow enough space for us. And then kind of interfere with the operations of the senior center. So we reached out to Classical Light, and they jumped right on it. It's been a very good partnership.
Excellent.
Are there any complications of your exiting and entering the building in terms of equipment that people should think of or be aware of?
No, I mean, it's fairly easy, it's well marked, we've got some signage on Berkshire School Road and Salisbury Road directing people in. Where I sit and where Carolyn sits, we can see out the window of people coming, and, you recognize faces, so then we move around and meet them in the lobby and so forth, and then we can bring them back at that point. It's a secure facility, so we have swipe cards that they gave to us for getting in and out of the building, so it's not open, so if somebody tries to come, they're gonna have to hit the buzzer, but we just try to catch them before they hit the buzzer, because some of the people that are still working there are like 100 yards away, and they come running down the hallway and see who it is, and then it's somebody for us, so we try to beat into it a little bit, not interfere with their work day. Like have the answer the door all the time. So, but other than that, things have been good. Snow came and we didn't have too many car accidents. A couple stuck in the snow, but crashes. Been very quiet, not so good. Other than that, everything's been going good.
Any questions?
Have we made any more progress on getting the speed sign that monitors time and date and speed, portable one that we had talked?
Now that you mention it, rather than I'm going to think about my budget tomorrow.
Oops. I retract the question. No, sorry.
I did put in for one. Got quotes on several different models, so we just got to decide whether we can do it or not.
And is that one that's just collecting data or actually?
It monitors speed, it collects data. It's actually a signboard as well, so you have 3 lines of, you could put anything, slow down, town meeting, date, whatever we needed to use it for traffic control, for directing traffic, whatever signage, the selectmen decided to put out for an event or something, you could use for that. But it collects, its main function is to track speeding, highlights the speed that the person's going, with a message, slow down. But it also tracks the amount of traffic we have on certain roads, so if we can, we get complaints all the time, people saying they're speeding down our road, and I'll send an officer down to the road, and over a 2-hour period, 2 cars go by. So this way we could, put that in the neighborhood and collect some data and then educate some of the people in the area that it's either what they're saying or it's not. So that would be helpful too.
But it's not a camera to issue ticket.
There's no camera. People think there is, which is a good thing, but there's not actually.
Hopefully they're not listening
We
tonight.
don't tell them that there's not a
Yeah.
camera, but yeah, a lot of people think that. And there are ones that are speed trailers that can capture a license plate, just like the car systems, where they can then issue a citation, but we're not into that, so we just want to slow the people down.
Okay. Patrick, any questions?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir, so much.
Thank you.
Next item up is Rick Paul is here. We announced his application for recycling coordinator at our last meeting and would like to put him forward for appointment. Please, yeah, there you are. I was doing so you so much.
No controversy.
There's no controversy? Okay.
I'll make a motion to appoint Rick Paul for recycling coordinator.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. I'm very excited to have you on board.
Looking forward to it.
Express Westward. Yeah, you're going to give us a little bit of information about the Express Bus, Renee? Renee's here for a discussion regarding Berkshire Regional Transit cancellation of express routes.
Yes, Renee Wood, 98 Walden Street. I'm a representative to the RTA for the town. I've actually been worked with 4 directors on the RTA. And not a ruling member of the auto bus service for about 2 weeks and decided it wasn't useful. But we did get the 921 out of it, which is the express bus from Great Barrington to Pittsfield. The letter that you have in front of you, the draft letter, really is kind of a calm statement about how I feel about the RTA, First Regional Transit Authority, at this time. If anyone has been checking the RTA website, they have consistently been canceling service on the Route 921 in the afternoon. I don't know what you're supposed to do if you get up to Pittsfield and you can't get home. They've been canceling service on the 21 and on the 2. So I'm not quite sure what's going on up there. Even as a board member, I can't discern what is happening. They say there's a driver shortage, but with the new proposed schedule, they will still have a driver shortage. And I'm just extremely concerned that with the 921 Express being totally eliminated and the schedules on the Route 2 and 21 being changed, then we're really going to find ourselves in a situation where we don't have any dependable VRTA service in South County. That, of course, will probably shift the load to the South County connector. So I'm very glad that you have a fixed rate locked in for their service for the coming year. But I really feel that it's important for the board to take a position and to let the RTA know that these changes are really not acceptable. I attached a couple of service alerts as the next 2 pages for just a couple of days. And you can see what they canceled. It's the same today. I'm going to continue this because I will make my own personal comment. And then there is a note where Chris Rimble from Great Barrington is quoted in the Eagle as really, in the Edge is just giving his comment. So if you change the letter, that's fine, but I'd really like to have you send me a strong letter to DOTA. And I will keep you informed the next meeting where this is supposed to be decided by the board or approved or what knows, will be on March 4th, excuse me. Rep. Davis came out today with an extremely strong statement on this situation. I don't know if it got forwarded to your office or not, but it was very strong that you fix the drivers, you don't cut the service. So, if there's any questions I can answer for you, I'd be more than happy to do so.
So this seems to be employment problem more than a ridership problem, or is it a combination of
What
both?
they're saying is that they have a driver shortage. Now, I've been on this board long enough at different directors to know that what you do is you cut service, and you find you have a rider problem, so you can cut service. And that's my personal take on what is happening. In addition, they've opened a new service, Link 413, that has 2 drivers. That service started before it went through the normal 30-day announcement and public comment period, which is against federal law to do so. So I'm not sure why they're taking 2 drivers to do this Link 413 that goes over to the nearby 2 counties to the east, while we are having our 921 eliminated. I mean, I would be in favor of eliminating the 21 and the 2 and keep the 921 if it's that. But I've seen over and over, you cut service, people who take the bus have to have reliable service.
And I'm sure you've been presenting these questions at your meetings, and
I've been told I'm severely aggressive at the meeting. So yes, I have.
and you're not getting a good response, I take it.
I feel I'm getting the same runaround. It seems like the new administrator who was just hired in December, that is more, I mean, I know what she's trying to do. She's trying to establish reliable service. But she's cutting the guts out of our South County service. At the same time, saying there's a driver shortage program, yet taking 2 drivers that could serve 921 and putting them on a different route. The same thing is happening in North County, but to be honest, I don't really, that's for them to fight. I'm fighting for the South County service. I'm concerned that if they go through with what they're proposing, people will not take the 2 or 21 because it's at very off times to connect, and the waiting is going to be elongated, and so people will find other routes, and eventually those will also be cut. Then we will have no service. So I kind of feel that this is a stand that we need to take in South County and do what we can before the routes are changed to really make known what our preferences are and highlight the issues.
I would definitely be in favor of sending a strongly worded letter and maybe have someone represent them here and answer some questions that have been hard to get.
I can send you, they do have a public hearing schedule. I can send that to Jill tomorrow. Some of it is in person and some of it is in iTeams. But if you also wish to have the director come here, I will, I'll work with Jill. You just let me know what day and times, and I will ask Kathleen, who I voted for as the new director, to come and meet with you in person. But I'd still like to get the letter sent.
It would be nice to have an understanding of usership and like the decision, if the decision is solely about staffing, it really is disturbing.
I'm not aware that they've done any rider surveys like South County connected us. I have to say, I've ridden the South County connector, but I don't take the bus. I have other places I've lived. But I know if you're a bus rider, you depend on that bus. And you depend on those times.
The last minute cancellation seems like the most disturbing thing because there aren't other ways of getting home.
It's the best bus route we have from South County to Pittsfield, the 921. It's every hour is express. It doesn't take you 2 hours to get there. You don't have to change. Once you get to Pittsfield, you can make all the connections north to the hospital, etc.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Were you making a motion that we would draft a letter? Or
Well, we have a draft here, but I will make a motion that we review the draft, make any changes we see necessary, and send it on.
Second
And I'll
that.
send that information to you tomorrow, and we'll get an appointment set up.
Thank you.
That'd be great. Thank you, Renee.
I
So you have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. Renee, I don't know why you're sitting down. Digital equity grant is next up.
Okay, so there's a couple of things here. This deals with our MPI Digital Equity Implementation Grant. This is what's funding our one-on-one, and we're about to start this month courses and lectures and workshops. When this grant was submitted, we worked with BRPC as our grant submitter. And I'm not quite sure, there was a little bit of a translation problem between what I asked for and what got submitted. But MBI has said that we can make changes in the grant. I discussed this with Rhonda a little bit, and I will work more with her to make sure that this is correct. But one of the things that we asked for was money to bring hotspots to port. That has now been covered by a subsequent grant, and they will be wired. So I want to take all that $6,000 and put a couple thousand of it, I mean, if you want the details, I won't go over, a couple thousand into the equipment order, because prices have gone up since we put this in about 8 months ago. And I'm going to take the rest of the money and I want to put it into the training. We've had really good response on training. Somehow we got in line for $27,000 to be public space internet, which this board has discussed before and said no. to doing the town park. I'm not quite sure how that got in there, but I want to transfer the majority of that, 22,000, to, again, digital training. So most of our money will end up paying for our digital training. And I'll work with Rhonda, so if you would possibly give Rhonda the approval authority, I sent her a letter on this today, to make that decision. It's in line with what our long-range plan has always been.
And it sounds like the one-on-one classes in particular have been most popular, and people can reach out and make appointments.
Yeah, and again, we're starting courses and lectures and workshops, and this is we're just starting this in late December, so almost a month and a half, and it's going very well. I'm extremely excited. I have 4 very good trainers. So if we can move this money, we do need to have MBI approve a budgetary amendment. It's all been talked about in very good shape. They just need to get the official request.
I think it's great that the grant has that flexibility in it to move money where it's needed most. So I'd be happy to make a motion that we approve Rhonda to make any adjustments with Renee as far as the grant goes.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Can I give you one more piece of information? I don't know when Rhonda's going to have that news up about addresses. Tomorrow. So tomorrow, under news, there should be all 996 addresses where Verizon is wiring in front of. I have found out, and it will be on the news, so check the news tomorrow. It's really going to be good news. That if Verizon has gone down your street, which it's not the entire town, but it's almost the entire town. If they have gone down and your address is not on the street that you live on, you can still get Verizon service. You can go to Verizon.com right now and see if you are eligible for their service, which is going to be internet, landline, mobile, and streaming. They are not going to offer cable TV because, of course, that's a Spectrum proprietary product. But for those who have been saying, I don't want Spectrum anymore, you're going to have the opportunity to compare prices and see, and for many of us, that can happen right now. So this is working out good. They have to finish all of this up. That news talks about connections, and they have to finish this substantially by the end of this year. So that part of the grant is also going very well.
That's exciting news. Thank you, Renee. Next up, item number 10 is action regarding a revision of a one-day alcohol permit for Dewey Hall. I believe Dewey Hall is just changing the date of an event. Is that right?
Yes. So they had it scheduled for February 26th. And they would like to change to February 26th.
From February 24th.
Yes.
And this is for, I was just going to say what the event is, does it?
I'll make a motion to approve the one-day alcohol permit for the 26th instead of the 24th of February.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. Next up on the agenda is something relating to Southern Berkshire Ambulance and some state funds that are being offered to municipalities possibly to help pay for emergency services. And there's an RFI out from the state about $5 million worth of funding that might be able to help with EMS costs and management. And the letter is really just seeking information in reference to what we think would be useful in terms of protocols and priorities for them to fund. And we've drafted a letter that I believe you both had a chance to review.
The only thing I saw in the letter that...
Oh, the TK is, I just want to put the number in, I needed it around it.
Okay, perfect.
It's about 45. Our cost of working with Southern Berkshire Ambulance in the last few years has risen substantially by, I believe, about almost 60% one year and 45% in the next ask. So we're seeing this as an ongoing crisis for us if these costs can't be brought under control. And ideally, this grant will help us to subsidize some of that, or these funds.
I'll make a motion to approve the letter as written.
With the replacement of the TK with an actual percentage. All right. Any second?
Oh, I see, second.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. The next news is short and exciting. I guess we're getting near the time for our annual town report, right? So we can discuss cover photo.
Anyone who's interested in submitting a photo for the cover should get that into us in the next week or two. It can be brought in, it can be emailed to Jill or I.
And given the long winter, maybe if it didn't involve a giant pile of snow, we would all appreciate that. Maybe something that reminds us that spring will eventually be coming would be ideal. They can email that or drop it off, is that
Yes.
great?
It's always great to see the pictures and get to make a decision on what goes on the cover, so.
All right. Item number 13 is discussion and action regarding an ADU zoning amendment. The state has finalized a lot of their ADU regulations, and for us, that means looking at our bylaw and amending it and moving it forward to be in compliance with the final regulations. And I believe we have a draft in front of us from the planning board that will be also looked at by our attorneys. But I think the idea this evening was to get a review from all of us to see if we had any concerns or thoughts about what's included in here. In reviewing it, I can attest to the fact that most of this language is tightly in compliance with how the state has rewritten and redrafted these, their approach to ADUs, and bringing us in alignment with that.
I see no problem with it, other than having legal go through it and make sure all the information is correct. I see no problem with supporting it.
And then the next step on this would that it would go to
A
a public hearing through the
board.
planning board, which they will post. So people will have a chance to review this and comment on it. And I don't think we need a motion on that, it's just,
You do need
Oh, we
a
do?
motion
Oh.
that you approve it pending an income.
okay,
So moved.
Second?
all right. All in favor? Aye. Great, I never thought we'd get here, but we're on item number 14, which is board member items. And I only have one, which is that we just helped dig a neighbor out of their house because the snow on their roof just went in front of their door. So maybe everyone should pay attention to their snowfall. This week is exciting to have warming temperatures, but it brings about some unexpected things as well, too. Any news from either of you?
I'm good.
Nothing for me.
Rhonda? Oh my goodness. Any public comment? George?
Yeah, when the town, when the town follows the parking lot between the Legion and the senior center, if they bucket those piles down to the triangle where Mill Pond Road and Cook Road come together, it'd be a whole lot better than lining it up in front of the gas tank or the Legion Hall where it sits and freezes. And now we need gas. I'm not shoveling out, not at 82. So if the town could get a backhoe in there and scoop out a pass at the crossing and get in, put the gas in, we'd appreciate it.
We can mention that to our highway superintendent, and I'm sure he can get that taken care of.
And there's a lot of times that probably we can't see.
It's a note for all of us to think about who have propane, that access to those.
And oil.
Yeah, and oil.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Renee?
I just wanted to give 3 thank yous, and they're not necessarily in order of importance. I think they're all important. I want to thank the highway department this last storm, and I know they've been out working, and I really think they did a terrific job, despite George's comment, on trying to just push the snow back so we could even see out of our driveways and keep the roads clear. And the other thing I'd like to thank Plaster Light for hosting the police department. It's very easy to go over there and visit them, so nobody should be shy. And then I've given some stories recently in the paper about our friends to the north and their budgetary issues, and another town up near Pittsfield, and the fact that they haven't closed their books for 2 years. I really just want to thank our town administrator, our select board, the finance committee, and our voters for really taking a very conservatively, fiscally smart approach to our budget. And I know it's going to be another hard year this year, but I just want to thank you all for really not getting us in trouble in the past and doing very wise things to keep us fiscally strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. I going to the MMA conference at the beginning of the month, it was shocking to recognize how many towns are really struggling in their financial situation. And thanks to Rhonda and this board and previous boards and our finance committee, we are in a somewhat fortunate position, which we hope when we go out to post Rhonda's position again, will make this a job that somebody finds delightful to take on, because they're not walking into a crisis situation. And we're quite fortunate on that front. Anything else this evening, or a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.